Hey everyone, it's Argonath here from The Right Way, and more news coming out of New Zealand, just how idiotic this Labour government is, and they are completely anti-business, and you'll see why as we go through this particular video. So this is an article from the stuff.co.nz website. So if you're not from New Zealand, might be a little bit of interest for you. Before we start, if you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, you're welcome to give it a thumbs down, and love to read your comments in the comments section as well. And if you like my content, please subscribe, as it just means YouTube will find my content a bit easier. So let's have a look. So restaurant manager says businesses having to pay unvaccinated staff 4 weeks notice is disgraceful, and it certainly is. So let's have a look at what this is all about. A new law requiring businesses to pay out workers who refuse to get vaccinated has been described as bloody disgraceful and incredibly unfair by some in the hospitality sector. So it also applies to all businesses, not just the hospitality sector. Recently, legislation which was passed requires employers to provide a minimum 4-week paid notice period when staff have their employment agreements terminated for not being vaccinated and their work requires vaccination. A 4-week notice period for a worker on minimum wage working 40 hours a week equates to nearly $3,000 after tax. If a worker has a notice period longer than 4 weeks in their employment agreement, that still applies. So basically, certain businesses in New Zealand must have vaccinated workers. So basically, if your business requires customers that come in or clients that come in to be vaccinated, then all your workers must be vaccinated as well. And also, businesses can opt in to require all workers to be vaccinated. So you could be forced to be vaccinated, have all your workers vaccinated by the government, or you could choose to have all your workers vaccinated as well. So if you're forced to have all your workers vaccinated and someone doesn't want to be vaccinated, then they can be terminated, but you have to give them a minimum of 4 weeks of wages for that. That's absolutely ridiculous. All staff working in businesses with vaccine passes are mandated, including hospitality, events, gatherings, close contact businesses and gyms, need to have their first vaccination by Friday and the second vaccination by January 17. Businesses can also implement their own vaccine mandates by carrying out a workplace risk assessment. David Nunn, restaurant manager at Epsom Bar and Eatery Little Jimmy, said he had to let go of one staff member who did not want to be vaccinated and had to be paid 4 weeks' pay because this person is a restaurant manager. They have to pay them out because that's the requirement from the government. This is absolutely ridiculous. If you want to give 4 weeks paid, fine. Why does the government not pay that 4 weeks wages? Why are they not allowed to claim for that from the government? Because it's the friggin' government regulations that are requiring the business person to give 4 weeks pay to this person who doesn't want to be vaccinated. It's absolutely effing ridiculous, right? The government requires it, and the bloody business has to pay for the 4 weeks leave. That is, so angry. Nunn said he did not think it was fair that businesses should have to cover the cost, especially considering the hospitality industry has been shut down for 3 months in Auckland. So they don't have any spare money, do they? They've pretty much spent all their money during the 3 months of lockdown that they've had to go through. This government is so anti-business, it's ridiculous. If you want to bring a requirement that they have to be paid 4 weeks pay, then friggin' government can pay for it. This effing Labour government is so anti-business. I think it's bloody disgraceful. He said business would not only have to pay unvaccinated staff 4 weeks pay for no work, they also needed to pay wages for replacement staff. I didn't even think of that. So you need to get someone to replace the worker that's not going to be working, and then you've got to pay for that person and the replacement person as well. We don't have reserves of cash because they spent it all during their 3-week lockdown. Staff who chose not to get vaccinated had to make a decision to quit, he said. No one has been fired, you've made the decision to quit, so I don't think there should be a huge amount of entitlement there. Restaurant Association Chief Executive Marisa Bidouar said the move to the traffic light system had been incredibly challenging. The industry continued to face a labour shortage, so to lose staff was challenging for businesses. To be expected to pick up the bill after months of restricted or in many cases no trading is incredibly unfair. Why don't these people give these wishy-washy statements, right? Why don't they just come out and just say it's completely disgraceful, the Labour government is anti-business, that they have this fear of not saying things how they actually feel. If they're really angry, then say this, right? They come out with these washy-washy things, incredibly unfair. That that doesn't mean anything. Just come out. It's absolutely disgraceful. It's completely unfair on businesses. The government should be picking up the tab. Information from the government had not been forthcoming, which left businesses in many cases opening their doors without a clear understanding of the details of the requirements, she said. It only recently became clear businesses who were choosing not to use vaccination passes needed to have a fully vaccinated workforce. We do not dispute that these employees also deserve notice, but it's still money that businesses are forced to pay with little or no revenue coming in many cases over the last 110 days. Government should pay for it. Workplace Relations and Safety Minister Michael Wood said the minimum of 4 weeks paid notice must occur before a worker could be terminated for being unvaccinated. Given the consequence for the employee is a loss of employment, we think that this is a reasonable balance. It's not a reasonable balance to strike, Michael Wood, government minister. You friggin' pay for it, you hapless hack. Our experience in areas where this process has been applied is that in the final weeks, a reasonable proportion of employees will decide to get vaccinated, which keeps the person in employment and saves the cost and disruption of the employer having to. No, because if they don't get vaccinated, you've paid all that money. Does the person after 2 weeks decide to get vaccinated? Do they have to pay back the 2 weeks' wages to the business? They should have to pay that back. That's absolutely disgusting. A Ministry for Business, Innovation and Employment spokesperson said the 4-week notice period provided a clear and consistent approach for employment agreements that were terminated because a worker was unvaccinated. I don't think that this particular clause is in any contracts before the pandemic hit. You should allow businesses to claim those 4 weeks of wages back. Labour government, you should be doing this because businesses are not made of money. It's absolutely disgusting. I don't think we really need to carry on through the rest of the article. We've got the gist of what it is. This is just absolute disgusting behaviour from the government, forcing businesses to pay for this when it's the government's own regulations and policy which are requiring businesses to terminate unvaccinated workers if they are in hospitality, events, close contact businesses and so on. Government should be paying for this. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think it's fair businesses have to pay for the 4-week notice, or do you think the government should have to pay for it instead? Personally, as I said, I think the government should have to pay. Anyway, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, you're welcome, give it a thumbs down. And if you like my content, please subscribe as well. Alright, that's it for this video. Hopefully I will catch you in the next video.